Hello, hello. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. And thank you for joining us for the inaugural U Online Open House. My name is Tori Brignolo, Senior Enrollment Advisor with the University of Miami's online programs. And let me say from all of us here, what a pleasure it is to have you join us today. And we really do thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedules to enjoy this webinar and learn a little bit more information about the University of Miami's online programs. So today, our intentions are to help you learn what it's like to earn a graduate degree 100% online through the University of Miami, plus a specific look at topics including building a career in sport, becoming a leader in business with an MBA, securing a career in accounting, and navigating scholarships and financial aid. You'll hear from U Online students and graduates, as well as members of the faculty and our enrollment team. Please also note that this webinar will be attached and delivered in a follow-up email, so you'll definitely have the opportunity to view this presentation again and even share it with a friend or colleague. With that being said, we hope that you've also brought some questions and ideas with you today as we plan to have an interactive session. But before we get into today's content, we do want to take a moment to go over a few housekeeping items to make sure that you get the most out of today's program. So on the front and the screen of you, or excuse me, on front of your screen, you'll see today's slideshow. You'll see a chat window and a section for submitting questions. You do have the ability to size these windows as you see fit, so feel free to set them up to your comfort level as we move on. The chat window is an area for you to connect with fellow attendees and also send our presenters or moderators any questions about the webinar. And to submit a question for today's program, you'll want to type the question into the Q&A window. We will go ahead and answer any of today's questions either verbally during our Q&A session, or we will respond to you directly. So please keep an eye out on that window periodically throughout the program if you are going to ask a question. So without further ado, let's kick off things with our first session, which is being part of the University of Miami community. It is my pleasure to introduce to you our first speaker, Dr. Bill Green. Dr. Green has joined the University of Miami as a Senior Vice Provost and Dean of Undergraduate Education in July of 2006. He's responsible for enhancing the quality of undergraduate experience and strengthening the integrity of the university-wide undergraduate curricular and co-curricular initiatives. He also holds an appointment as Professor of Religious Studies and Senior Fellow in the Sue and Leonard Miller Center for Contemporary Jihadic Studies. Dr. Green holds an AB in Religion from Dartmouth College and a PhD in Religion from Brown University.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the U. I want to add my words of greeting to Tori's. Welcome to you. We're glad to have you with us, and we're going to use this session to help you understand something about what it'll mean for you and can mean for you to be part of the UM community.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Green. We appreciate it. So we actually have some questions for you here that we want to dive right into. Hope that you can provide some insight for our attendees here. So with that being said, the first question that I'd like to have here for you is, how would you describe the UM community? And rather, what is it like to be a Caine?
Miami's a very interesting place, and there's really no other university community that's quite like it. I've been involved with lots of different universities in different consulting capacities. This community is really distinctive. It's diverse, it's energetic, there's a very powerful kind of school spirit, and there's a wonderful sort of culture of learning here in which the students are the most unpretentious learners I think I've ever encountered in over 40 years in higher education. The students are happy to be here. They're excited about their education, and they also collaborate well with one another, partly because the community is so diverse. We have students from all over the world. We have students from all over the country. We have students from Latin America. So it's an unusually diverse community in terms of people's background, in terms of their native language, but it's also diverse in terms of of the kinds of things they can learn. There are 9 schools in the university that give undergraduate degrees, and then there's the law school and the medical school. So we have 11 different schools and colleges, and there's a very rich and exciting kind of intellectual diversity as well. And students from different fields come together and learn together. It's a pretty good community to be part of, and I think you can feel that here, and you can also feel it in the online experience.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Dr. Green. Appreciate it. And I would have to agree as well with my experience here at the University of Miami. I mean, the diversity is amazing. So it's definitely one of those things where you have people from all walks of life, all collaborating, and it's just wonderful to see firsthand. So I want to jump into a second question for you. That would be, how do online students fit in and contribute to the UM community? You know, I think a lot of people have the notion that when you're online, you're often disconnected. So I'd like to, hear your take on that.
Well, that's not our view. Our view is that anybody who comes to study with us, whether they do it face-to-face or whether they do it online, is part of our educational and intellectual and social community as well. Once you're a cane, you're a cane forever. One of the things that you can't undo is your learning experience, and once you become part of a university, that connection stays with you forever. You can change your spouse, but you can't change where you went to college. So that's a lifetime connection. And what's wonderful about the online students is that they enrich the diversity and the types of students who are coming here to learn. It's not only sort of standard graduate students who are here full time and undergraduates, but folks from all over the country, indeed all over the world, come to take advantage of our educational resources, and they become part of the UM community forever, and they enrich it. So we become a stronger university and a stronger educational community because of the interest and the passion and the commitment that the online students bring to us. So and it also gives us a chance to share the learning that defines this place with the broadest possible audience, and that's going to be fundamental to higher education in general going forward, and it's certainly a very important part of our own educational mission. We would like as many people as possible to take advantage of the educational resources, the distinctive and unique educational resources that this university has to offer.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So I have another question here for you, Dr. Green. How can online students benefit from the opportunities that are offered by UM, both during their time as a student and after graduation?
Well, while they're learning, they're benefiting directly in the classes, in the conversations they have with the other online students, and their engagement with the faculty. Once you become an alumna or an alumnus of the University of Miami, you're a cane forever, and you become fully part of our network. We have alumni from all over the country and all over the world, and our online students become full members of that community and are fully part of everything we do. All the other, we can help you with your placement. If you come to campus, you have full access to the library. You can get access to the wellness center. Some of our online students who are near Florida or live somewhere where one of our teams is playing will often go to the games and watch them compete. That's all part of the sort of richness of the intellectual and social experience that defines a University of Miami education.
So I think the important part, and thank you, Dr. Green, is the fact that, how you mentioned that although you are online, that you have to take advantage of the opportunities and the different things that are available here as an online student. So very similar to being a campus-based student. And, definitely want to be a part of the university. You got to connect, even though you may be in a different state, different country. The UM games, football games, basketball games happen around the country, and you're absolutely right. The fan base.
And you can watch them on television, too.
That, too. Very true, very true. So thank you very much here. And I think we have a couple more questions for you, Dr. Green. Let's see here. One that came in. If I wanted to connect with the faculty or other students face-to-face, are there opportunities? So actually, you know what? I can go ahead and take that question.
Okay.
And that is a great question, and absolutely, yes. As an online student, you definitely have opportunities to connect with other students face-to-face. For example, for all of our new students, we offer an on-campus orientation session. Typically will take place the week before class starts, and we actually invite all of our online students to come to campus. It's about a 9 to 5 event, so it's a full day of events, and basically students will get the opportunity to meet their peers, the same students that they'll be in class with for the entirety of their program. We have a faculty luncheon where faculty from all of the programs will come in, basically sit down with our students, answer any questions at that time, and of course get that opportunity to build that network from the ground up. So that would be one of the main opportunities to come to campus and actually interact with people face to face. There is also going to be live office hours weekly with all of your professors where they set aside time exclusively for online students. Definitely another great opportunity to connect with people even though you're an online student. And of course, all online students are going to be invited to the on-campus graduation. So you will walk graduation with your peers alongside the campus-based students and, just try to, of course, make sure that everyone feels a part of the university because you absolutely are, even though you're an online student. And as I mentioned, you will certainly have some opportunities to connect with faculties and peers face-to-face throughout your program here.
I think I want to add to that. One of the traits of UM as an institution is we don't treat our students as numbers. Education here is personal. Educational here is individual. You're part of a community, but your teachers pay attention to you as an individual student because students learn in different ways. They have different sets of questions. They have different ambitions, and that is a trait of the way learning works at all levels here. It's really quite interesting. Put it in a different way. I had some friends of mine who teach at universities in the Northeast came to campus to visit, and one of the things they noticed and they observed quite spontaneously is that the students at UM seem very happy. That happens to be the case. It's a really upbeat community because there's a lot of school spirit, and the student body at the graduate and undergraduate level is very open. People are receptive. It's not a cliquey kind of place. All of that affects the way you learn, and it's one of the traits that makes it possible for our education to be personalized and centered around individuals, and that's one of the really distinctive traits of our online programs as well.
Well said. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Absolutely. So it looks like we have another question here for you, Dr. Green. This question is coming from Rachel, and it says, "What is your favorite thing about the U?"
I have many favorite things about the U. My favorite thing about the U is the energy of the students and their commitment to learning. It's a hard sort of a hard thing to describe. When I said before, the students are unpretentious. They're serious learners. They give a lot of time and attention to their work, but they're not so full of themselves that they get in the way of their own learning. That's what's really nice. I can tell you that part of the campus trait is I've been here for 13 years. I have never had an office hour that didn't end with a student saying thank you. That's not typical at most universities. The students are like that. The other thing about that character is that the students collaborate easily and naturally here. If you walk around the campus, what you see is groups of students sitting outside. Some of them are sitting by the lake. Some of them are sitting, some of them are in classrooms. But they collaborate very easily. And this lack of pretense means that, as I said, the community is really open and students are very accepting of one another. So I think my favorite thing about the place is that it's a joy to teach here for that reason. It really shapes the way students learn both on campus and online.
Great, thank you so much. So Dr. Green, do have another question. This one is coming from Miles, and thank you, Miles.
Hi, by the way, Rachel, that was a great question.
Yeah, thank you, Rachel, for your question. We appreciate it.
You get an A for question.
So this one is coming from Miles, Dr. Green, and it says, "What would you say are the academic strengths of UM that set it apart from other schools?"
There's lots. We're a very interesting place. I think I would put it this way. There's no university in the world that offers as many choices to its few students as we do. We're not a really huge university. People often think we're bigger than we are. But we have a range of offerings that no one our size can provide. And that means students here have high quality educational opportunities across the board. And that's a really interesting characteristic. So that is one thing that defines the learning here sort of comprehensively. And then what's interesting is because we're not so big, the people in the different schools can collaborate with one another. So that the programs we offer are enriched by faculty working across boundaries, working with one another from different schools. and enriching the kinds of teaching and the kind of research that they do. So, I mean, all of our programs are very strong. Our music school in particular, our marine science school, we've got some extraordinary programs in the sport admin is a program of national note. The business school is very well ranked, and we have a new dean who's just come here from the Harvard Business School who's transforming the school even more. We're at a very exciting time in the university's history. People forget sometimes Miami's a lot younger than a lot of universities. Most of our peer institutions were founded in the 19th century. We're not 100 years old yet. To have done what we've done and to be as young as we are already sets us apart from almost every other university in the United States.
Thank you, and thank you, Miles, for your question. Definitely appreciated. So I have another question here.
Get an A2, Miles. Good.
So a question came in that states, if I am online, how do I interact with my fellow students? So I can go ahead and chime in on this one, and that is also a great question. So as you know, as we've been speaking about probably the past 10 minutes or so, that we really stress the importance of being connected, not only with the university, but with your peers. So not only do we offer that on-campus orientation session to connect with fellow students, but there's also a variety of resources online as well. For example, through your online platform, there is a discussion board, which weekly you'll be prompted to answer discussion post questions based off of the professor and obviously, you know, what the situation is in the class at that time. And as you're posting to the discussion board, you'll also be required to respond to your fellow classmates. So that way it keeps it alive and interactive, almost like a blog, if you will, on a weekly basis through the online discussion board. We also encourage our students to create things like WhatsApp chat groups where they can interact with each other, especially for those business students when they have those group projects. You know, there's the opportunity to make sure that you can, you know, meet with people that may be in different time zones and be able to kind of stay in an interactive chat with them, you know, throughout your school week. So WhatsApp is a very, very popular route that we use here, and we encourage our students to download and use as well. And then outside of that, I mean, you know, just basically regulatory in the classroom with the discussion board, and there's, you know, different areas and resources in your Blackboard classroom that allow you to post questions specifically to your classmates, as opposed to the professor, and get responses that way. So it's very, very interactive online. Numerous opportunities to connect with your classmates, and in fact, we actually kind of encourage it and not necessarily make it mandatory, but it is almost mandatory, especially with those group projects. So we'll help from an academic and admission standpoint as you're going through the application process and getting started here to make sure that you're able to build those you know, WhatsApp groups and build those interactions with your peers as well. So I definitely have a lot of assistance on our end from the academic side.
And if you want to get, I mean, the way I have seen this kind of interaction flourish and grow is at commencement, when lots of the online students come to campus to get their degrees. And it's like they've known each other for years. I mean, the community is very strong. They've already been talking to one another back and forth while they were pursuing their degree. Their families come with them. And you can't tell the difference between students who did their degree here face-to-face and who did their degree online. They're all excited to be here, and it's a very powerful sense of community. It's really very cool because they're Canes, and they are part of our network, and they're part of our future, and that's pretty exciting.
Great, thank you. Alrighty, so we have another question that came in here. This one is going to be from Chad, and he is asking, will the curriculum be similar to what is taught on campus? So I'll definitely be able to chime in on that as well. So that's a great question. Now, will the curriculum be different or be similar? Absolutely. The program is taught by the exact same faculty that are also teaching this campus-based program. So you're learning, you know, from the same exact faculty, world-class faculty found here on campus. It's not outsourced to adjunct or anything of that nature. The curriculum is a little bit different in regards to the time frame. So as an online student, you only do one course at a time, and the course is going to last 7 weeks at a time. So it is going to be a little bit more accelerated than what you would experience as a campus graduate student. However, the learning modules, the learning outcomes, and as I mentioned again, the professors are all the same. So at the end of the day, when you graduate here, your diploma is going to look the exact same as if you were a campus-based student. So essentially, there is no difference in the actual curriculum, just a little bit different in the way that the delivery of the material is. As an online student, obviously you're not in class every day, so it's going to be a little bit different with that regard. But again, at the end of the day, whether you go on campus or online, you're still graduating with a degree from the University of Miami.
And there are pluses, there are learning pluses to doing one course at a time. Some of the best teaching I've ever done in my life has been in concentrated courses where students were taking one course and they weren't distracted with multiple others. So online students are in the workforce and they have other life commitments, but if you're doing one course at a time, you can really focus your energy and in fact, I think the learning sticks more with you if you really focus that way. So the big difference is the timing difference. There's no difference in content or in substance in terms of the content of the education that you get.
Absolutely, and I couldn't agree more. I mean, I remember and I recall from undergrad taking 4 classes at a time and trying to balance all these subject areas, and it definitely gets crazy when you have all these books and all these assignments. So, the way that we structure it is to, definitely be flexible for adult learners.
And particularly at the graduate level, it's really good to be able to focus in like that.
Absolutely. So one course at a time, it allows you to really learn the material and absolutely understand what you're doing. So we have a final question here, and this one is coming from Mike. And the question is, if I want to apply, is the process different than applying on campus? So great question, Mike. I can go ahead and start with this one. So yes, the application process is a way different application from campus, not necessarily in the content that is required, but it's not going to be the same application. So if you're applying on campus, it would be separate, and if you're applying online, we have our own sort of application process. As you can see on the presentation here, that web link right there will bring you directly to our online website for U Online, and you'll see that there's a link within that website that says apply now. So our application is 100% online. Everything is done electronically. As I mentioned, the components of the campus application may be similar, but the way that students apply for our online programs is 100% electronic. So very streamlined, very simple process, and our enrollment advisors and academic advisors are on board as well. We're in a position to basically walk through and help all of our applicants get through the application process smooth with no issues. But, you'll see if you're one of those out there that are thinking about applying, once you load up the online application, it's super simple to navigate, and, everything will be done through our online application for the U Online department. Alrighty, so I think that is about it for the questions here, and that is actually going to bring us to the end of our session. So first and foremost, I definitely want to thank Dr. Green, for being present here and providing us some excellent insight. I hope that everyone out there listening, was able to take some of that and, be able to kind of formulate a solid opinion of what to expect here as a student. And I also want to thank all of our listeners, and to those that submitted questions, definitely appreciate it. With those questions, always helps us kind of dive a little bit deeper into the information here. I definitely want to encourage everyone to please stay with us for our next session, which is studying 100% online. It's coming up at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, and we're going to be posting a link in the chat box so you can participate. You'll hear from a U Online graduate as well as TT, which is one of our enrollment advisors on our enrollment team. And also, to find out more about our online graduate programs and admission, you can call an enrollment advisor today. The phone number is provided right there on the web. It's 800-411-2290. Or, of course, you can always visit the website listed there as well, welcome.miami.edu/online. We have a variety of resources to connect with enrollment advisors, whether it be over the phone, email, as well as a live chat service. So definitely a lot of opportunities to connect, and we'd love to hear from you. And again, just want to thank everybody for their participation today, and hope you all have a wonderful day.
And I want to add my thanks to all of you and say your questions were terrific. This is a really wonderful, interesting university. Take a look at us carefully, and if the fit is right, there's no better place in the world for you to be.
Thank you so much, Dr. Green. Appreciate it.